It was November 1976 in Philadelphia. The Rocky movie was in its final weeks of filming, and the buzz around it was starting to build. Sylvester Stallone had written the script in 3.5 days in a burst of inspiration after watching Muhammad Ali fight Chuck Wepner in 1975. He'd sold the script to producers with one non-negotiable condition: he had to star in it, even though he was an unknown actor. Studios had offered him hundreds of thousands of dollars to sell the script and let a big star play Rocky. Stallone refused every offer. He was betting his entire career, his financial future, everything on this low-budget underdog boxing story. For 6 months, Stallone had been training obsessively. He'd wake up at 4 a.m. and run the Philadelphia streets that Rocky would run, including the famous steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. He'd spend 3 hours in the gym hitting the heavy bag until his hands bled through his wraps. He'd spar with professional boxers who'd been instructed to go easy on him, but easy enough that Stallone started believing he could actually box. He'd done hundreds of interviews where he talked about becoming Rocky, about blurring the line between actor and character, about method acting taken to its extreme. The press ate it up. Here was a struggling actor, nearly broke, who'd written a script about a nobody boxer getting a shot at greatness, and now he was living that same story in real life. The narrative was irresistible. Entertainment reporters were calling it the feel-good story of the year, and the movie hadn't even been released yet. That's when Muhammad Ali came to visit the set. Ali was 36 years old, 3 years away from his final retirement from boxing. He was still the heavyweight champion of the world, having just defended his title against Ken Norton for the 3rd time. Ali had heard about this Rocky movie. Everyone in the boxing world had. Some fighters were offended by it, thinking Hollywood was romanticizing a sport they'd bled in. But Ali was curious. He wanted to see what this actor was doing, this Sylvester Stallone who was telling everyone he'd become a real boxer. When Ali walked onto the Philadelphia set, production stopped. Extras froze. Crew members put down their equipment. Even the director, John Avildsen, stopped calling shots. Muhammad Ali commanded that kind of presence. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a cultural phenomenon, probably the most famous person on the planet. Stallone came over immediately, starstruck despite his growing fame. "Champ," he said, extending his hand, "it's an honor." They talked for a while about the movie, about boxing, about what Stallone was trying to achieve. Ali was gracious, complimentary even. He told Stallone the fight choreography looked good, that the movement was convincing for cinema. But there was something in Ali's tone, a gentleness that suggested he was being polite rather than honest. The press corps that had been following the Rocky production for weeks saw an opportunity. 20 reporters with cameras and notebooks gathered around Ali and Stallone, hoping for a quote, a photo, anything they could use. One reporter, trying to generate a headline, asked Stallone directly, "You've been training for 6 months now. Do you think you could land a punch on Ali?" It was meant as a joke. Everyone laughed. But Stallone, riding high on 6 months of physical transformation and positive press, didn't laugh. He looked at Ali with genuine curiosity. "Could I?" Ali smiled, that famous Ali smile. "Sly, you're doing great for the movie, but there's a difference between—" "No, seriously," Stallone interrupted, and you could see the method actor in him genuinely wanting to know. "I want to understand the difference. I've been training hard. I've been sparring. I want to know what real feels like."
The reporters leaned in. This was getting interesting. Ali looked at Stallone carefully, trying to gauge if he was serious. "You don't want that, Sly. Trust me." "I do," Stallone insisted. "How else am I supposed to know if I'm doing it right? Champ, I'm asking you, hit me. Show me what real is." Ali shook his head. "Movie fighting and real fighting are different things. You're doing great for what you need to do. That's enough." But Stallone wouldn't let it go. Maybe it was ego. Maybe it was the method actor wanting authentic experience. Maybe it was the pressure of 20 reporters watching, waiting to see what would happen. Whatever the reason, Stallone pressed harder. Please, I can take it. I need to know. The set had gone completely quiet. Everyone was watching. Even the extras had stopped talking. Ali looked around at all the faces, then back at Stallone. You're sure? Yes. Okay, Ali said quietly. Where do you want it? Face or body? Body, Stallone said immediately. He wasn't completely crazy. He still had weeks of filming left and couldn't afford a broken nose or black eye. Body shot. Ali nodded. I'm going to go light, maybe 50%. That's already more than what you're used to. You ready? Stallone set his feet, tightened his core, tried to remember everything he'd learned in training. He nodded. Ready. What happened next took approximately 3 seconds, but everyone who witnessed it would remember it in slow motion for the rest of their lives. Ali didn't wind up. He didn't telegraph. He didn't show any indication that he was about to strike. One moment he was standing relaxed, the next his fist was buried in Stallone's solar plexus, the soft spot just below the sternum where the diaphragm sits. It wasn't a wild haymaker. It wasn't a dramatic Hollywood punch. It was a short, sharp, perfectly placed body shot that traveled maybe 8 inches. Ali pulled it at the last second, using only half his power, just as he'd promised. But half of Muhammad Ali's power was more than Sylvester Stallone had ever experienced in his life. Stallone's eyes went wide. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. His hands went to his stomach, and then he folded forward, dropping to his knees on the concrete floor of the set. His face turned red, then purple. He was trying to breathe, but his diaphragm had spasmed, locked up completely. No air would come in, no air would go out. Panic set in immediately. Stallone's mind was racing. He couldn't breathe. He was suffocating. He was dying on the Rocky set in front of 20 reporters. His hands clawed at his throat. His eyes were watering. Ali knelt down beside him, completely calm. Relax, Sly. You're okay. Your diaphragm's in spasm. It'll pass. Just stay calm. But Stallone wouldn't let it go. He was on his knees, rocking back and forth, trying desperately to force air into lungs that wouldn't work. 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. The reporters were taking photos, scribbling notes. The film crew didn't know whether to help or stay back.
Ali put his hand on Stallone's back. Breathe, Sly. Slow. It's coming back. You're okay. Finally, at about the 30-second mark, Stallone's diaphragm released. He sucked in a huge, ragged breath that sounded like a drowning man breaking the surface. Then another. Then another. He stayed on his knees, breathing heavily, sweat pouring down his face, even though he hadn't been exerting himself. When he finally looked up at Ali, his eyes were completely different. The confidence was gone. The pride was gone. What remained was pure humility and newfound respect. That was 50%? Stallone managed to gasp out. Ali nodded. Maybe less. I pulled it pretty good. Stallone started laughing, a breathless, almost hysterical laugh. Oh my God! Oh my God! I've been telling everyone I learned to box. I don't know anything. I don't know a damn thing. The reporters were already writing their stories in their heads. This was gold. But what happened next elevated it from a funny anecdote to a profound moment. Ali helped Stallone to his feet, kept his hand on his shoulder. Then, facing the reporters, Ali did something unexpected. He defended Stallone. Listen, Ali said to the press corps. Don't make Sly look bad in your stories. What he's doing for this movie is incredible. He's trained harder than most people ever will. He's learned the movements, the technique, the discipline. For cinema, he's doing it right. But there's a difference between learning to look like a fighter and being a fighter. That difference is 20 years of taking punches, 20 years of learning to hurt and be hurt.
20 years of fighting through pain that would make most people quit. He turned to Stallone. "You asked me to show you real, and I showed you. But real isn't better, Sly. Real is just different. Rocky doesn't need to be real to be true. Your movie is about heart, about the human spirit. That's more important than whether you can take a body shot." Stallone, still catching his breath, looked at Ali with gratitude and awe. "Thank you, champ, for the lesson and for going easy on me." Ali smiled. "That was easy, trust me." The story appeared in newspapers the next day. Some reporters wrote it as comedy. Famous actor gets reality check from boxing legend. Others wrote it more seriously, exploring the nature of authenticity in art, the difference between representation and reality. But all of them included the image, Stallone on his knees, unable to breathe, while Ali stood calmly above him. The photos became part of Hollywood lore. They circulated through the industry, a reminder that no matter how much an actor prepared, no matter how committed to method acting they were, some experiences couldn't be replicated. You couldn't become a fighter by playing one, any more than you could become an astronaut by playing one, or a surgeon by playing one. But something else came out of that moment. A genuine friendship between Ali and Stallone that would last for decades. They stayed in touch after Rocky wrapped. Ali would call Stallone before the movie's release, giving him pep talks like he was about to enter a real fight. "This is your championship bout, Sly. You trained for it. You earned it. Now go show the world what you got." When the movie became a massive success, winning Best Picture at the Academy Awards and making Stallone an overnight superstar, one of the first people he called was Ali. "Champ, we did it. The underdog won." Ali's response, "I never doubted it. You got heart, Sly. That's what matters. Rocky ain't about boxing. It's about heart. And you got plenty of that." Ali even attended the premiere of Rocky II in 1979. There's footage of them together on the red carpet, Ali with his arm around Stallone, both men laughing about that day on the set. When a reporter asked Ali if he'd consulted on the Rocky films, Ali joked, "I taught Sly everything he knows, especially how to fall down and get back up." Stallone played along. "Yeah, he taught me the getting down part real good."
Over the years, Stallone would tell the body shot story hundreds of times in interviews. It became one of his favorite anecdotes, illustrating lessons about humility and authenticity. He never embellished it. He always told it the same way. "Ali hit me once at half power, and I thought I was dying. That's the difference between real and pretend." In 2016, when Muhammad Ali died, Stallone released a statement that referenced that day on the Rocky set. "Ali taught me that strength isn't just physical. It's having the wisdom to show mercy, the grace to make others look good even when you're proving a point, and the humility to know that your worth isn't measured by how hard you can hit." That lesson on the set, where he could have humiliated me but instead educated me, showed me the kind of man I wanted to be. The irony wasn't lost on anyone who knew the story. Rocky, the movie, about an underdog boxer, was made authentic not because Stallone learned to box, but because Muhammad Ali taught him he didn't need to. The fictional Rocky was great not because he could fight like Ali, but because he had heart, courage, and the will to endure. Those qualities didn't require 20 years in the ring. They required something else, something Stallone actually did have. In later years, other actors would approach boxing roles. Stallone would always offer the same advice. Train hard, but remember, you're telling a story, not becoming a fighter. I learned that the hard way from the greatest. One punch, 30 seconds, that's all it took. The body shot incident became legendary, not just because it was funny or dramatic, but because it illustrated a deeper truth about craft, authenticity, and knowing the difference between representation and reality. Muhammad Ali didn't need to humiliate Sylvester Stallone that day. He could have laughed off the challenge or refused entirely. Instead, he gave Stallone exactly what he asked for, and then protected him from the consequences with the press. That's the mark of greatness. Not just the ability to throw devastating punches, but the wisdom to know when mercy is more powerful than destruction, and the grace to teach lessons without destroying dignity. If this story about the difference between real and pretend moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that respect for the real thing doesn't diminish the value of art, it enhances it. Have you ever had a moment where you realized the difference between knowing about something and actually experiencing it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the legends who taught us humility with grace.